Um, I don't know if there is any. I mean, I think like the maps are all like a little bit connected, and there's probably like a blurb about like what's going on them, but that's about all I know. I don't know.
Imposter
I'm not real
detected,
with
bro.
it.
Come on, it's right there.
True. All right. Well, we are live. Welcome everyone to Tub Takes. We just found out that Chuppa is a fake Among Us fan, um, and so maybe don't quit playing Pokemon is all I'm gonna say. But anyways, we are live and we are here with a recap of the biggest event of the past weekend with some players who did really well at it. First and
I guess
foremost,
kind of the past weekend.
the player who won the NAIC Tub Draft. We have Alex Underhill. How you doing?
That's true. I did win half of it.
And of course, we have the other event that happened this weekend was at North American Internets. Not nearly as important, but we do have some players who do pretty well at that too. So I'm joined by Raghav. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great, you know. I'm still riding the high of my great performance. Just feeling great.
We got Jeudy. How you doing?
I'm feeling great. Just riding a high off of this top eight. Just feeling amazing.
Thought you were gonna say my performance, I'll be honest.
Oh, true.
And
Gavin.
and we got Chuppa. How you doing?
I'm feeling okay. I'm riding the mediocrity of this okay performance.
Yeah.
Are we
So
allowed to swear?
yeah, give it like a minute. I think it's like the first minute. You're not allowed to swear, and then after that, you're good. For YouTube.
Got you. Yeah, but I'm coming for you in a minute.
I well, in that minute, let's talk about I guess we can talk about the NAIC draft. Hopefully, at this point, you've seen the actual results of the North American Championships. But last week we did a draft for the players at the North American Internets, and I guess we could talk about that. Jeudy was there, Chuppa and Raghav. You were drafted. I'll give you that. But yeah, we got. I guess Alex, you want to give us a recap of what happened?
For the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did the draft last week. I think we did it like on Tuesday. Just all seven of us grabbed 9 players total. And we had like a whole point system that can be broken down. You'll see it when we open up the actual sheet. But yeah, it's got and then there was like $20 entry and blah blah blah. But here are the players, the final results of the draft. I'm looking at it now, and I just realized how like awful of a toothpaste color Burns is when we're looking at it here. I think it's better when we're actually in the sheet. But anyway, yeah, this was the results after day one. So I just put a bunch of X's to represent the players. Some of these players were like out of the competition already because I think we rewarded points down to top 128. We were actually a little bit prophetic, I guess is the word. We were only giving draft points down to top 128. We didn't know that there was not going to be a top 256 at NAIC. As we later learned, we barely missed the cutoff for that one. What was the final number? Wasn't it like 760? We weren't even like
Yeah,
close.
it was like 768. We were like 30 people off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Fuck.
pretty brutal.
Yeah.
For the people that need a top 256. Not sure if anybody. Maybe there are some people that missed Worlds invites off that. But we're
Oh,
probably not going to highlight
sure.
the people that missed because that would be sad. We're instead going to later talk about the people that made it, but that's a different topic.
Yeah.
The draft, we have the results here after day one, and then after day two, we had the standings here. We had 7 out of the 8 players in cut were in the draft. Actually, nobody knew 45 Mice Justin Knox was going to pop off so hard. Nobody even drafted him. And then we had Bloody had 2 players in the top 8. Both of the players in the call here, Chuppa and Jeudy. So good picks by Bloody.
But not good enough
And-
because she did not win.
She did not win the draft.
And,
Then lastly, Nails whiffed on getting anybody in the top cut. So he was kind of out of the running right away.
This is what happens when you draft 7 tuppers. Just apparently you swift.
Well, that's the problem. He drafted 7 tuppers. We have 3 tuppers here in the call that are in the cut. He just didn't get any of these 3.
Yeah, so it was really fun because it was just like obviously we were rooting for the 3 people in call, but we were also rooting for our own players to do well because essentially the winner of the tournament, or the player who had the winner of the tournament would win the draft. Jeudy truly in a win-win scenario where either he won the tournament or Marco Fiero won the tournament, and then it turns out neither of them won the tournament. And but
My fault.
but yeah, it was fun. And then turns out Justin, who everyone said had the best draft, did really poorly up until except for with Alex Gomez, who actually won the thing. But even that was not enough for him to overtake Alex. So they ended up tying for first place in the draft. So that was what happened. That's a quick recap of what we were doing last week. And here are the final results. But I guess the next thing I would talk about, I don't really want to delve on this too much. This was just a fun activity. We're going to do it again for Worlds. But the next thing I want to talk about is the actual World Championships and who got their Worlds invites. Because that was, of course, I think the big draw of this tournament for a lot of players was the possibility of sneaking in, getting their Worlds invite. And I believe 26 or 27 players from North America got their day one Worlds invite from this tournament. And you can see all of their Twitter handles on screen. So congratulations to these players.
Yeah, that is so incredible. We ended up with just over 100 players from NA invited. We'll definitely have to see how many actually end up attending. I know a number of these players who are qualified that aren't going to be going. I remember 45 Mice, even after the deep finish, didn't said he was not going to be attending. I think he got his Worlds invite off of 2 tournaments, so pretty crazy. But yeah, lots of players that clutched it out here. Freeze Eye, I remember we were hanging out with Freeze Eye, who made it in. Do you know if Chase is going?
Chase is possibly going. We're trying to figure out whether he can make it work. But we're gonna.
What were you saying, Raghav?
Oh, Tom Hayden made it, and that's probably my favorite Worlds qualifier. That's my.
Hey, is Tom gonna go?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, for
nice.
sure. Nice. I'd be shocked if he didn't. Shouts to Rajan for making it. He had to get top 64, and there were 69 players or 68 players in day 2. And he started out 0-3 and had to really sweat it out and make all of us sweat for his last 2 rounds, but he did manage to win out to get his Worlds invite. So congrats to him as well.
God, that was awful. And I think he was straight up the second to last. And honestly, I think he wasn't, but I'm gonna exaggerate it for fun anyway. He was the second. Well, he definitely was one of the longest games though. In the last round, we were everyone was just standing around watching him play. I think technically Sohaib and a couple other people finished after. But,
so Sohaib's match was also.
Rajan have to play for the win and then.
What was that, Kevin?
Who did he have to play? I'm calling it the win and in. I mean, win and in.
Rajan. I actually don't know the opponent's name.
It was a player that I wasn't super familiar with. It was something Monaghan. I can find it.
Yeah, I just remember I finished my round relatively quickly, and I didn't even care that I made top 8 because at that point I was just like, "How's Rajan doing?" And he was still playing, and it was so stressful. But I'm glad.
The other very stressful match, of course, was Sohaib versus Enrique, because we were looking at the top cut calculator and we were seeing the resistance numbers, and we saw that that match decided whether Raghav made top cut or not. And because Sohaib was on Raghav's resistance, and it came down to just whether Sohaib won or lost. And of course, Sohaib won, and the rest is history.
Yeah, no, that was really stressful because I think him and then Kyle Livinghouse versus James Evans were the only 2 matches that weren't in yet on my resistance. And I found out Kyle won, and then I was like, okay, dude, Sohaib doesn't look super happy. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. After the match. So I was talking to Enrique for 5 minutes straight without indicating if he had won or lost to anybody, and his expression was also just so neutral. It was impossible to tell. To the point that we actually just yelled out to Sohaib, Sohaib, did you win or lose? Then he just gives us a thumb and then thumbs up and looks back at and goes back to talking to Enrique. We were like, oh my god, please.
Some people are so hard to read. I just want to know how the round went. Do a goofy pop off, do a jumping jack or something. You gotta show us that you won somehow.
Jumping jack.
Some of the hardest things to tell. Oh wait, you said jumping jacks? What? That's so funny that Chuppa mentioned that because during one of my Swiss rounds, I was sitting next to Karis, and Karis's opponent comes down very late, sits down, and is like, "Hey man, I just got done. I was the last game to finish last round. Do you mind if I do some jumping jacks? I didn't get a break." And Karis is like, "Yeah, go ahead." And the guy does just do some jumping jacks.
Gotta
He's
get your
so
heart
real
rate
for
up.
that. He's so real for that. No.
It was so random.
Oh
get
my
it.
god.
It was awesome though.
No, yeah. No, like as someone who spent half the tournament as the last person to finish, I get it. I understand the jumping
How are
jacks.
you taking being the last one to finish? I thought you were a clicker.
You don't even bring Arcanine, bro.
No, games are just taking so long. Like my round 2 all the way up to my round 5, just I was the last person to finish. Round 4 I was on stream. And then I went to the bathroom and I got a text from one of the judges who's like, "Are you still backstage?" I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "The round started." And then I got to my opponent. I 2-0'd them. It was a long 2-0. But, like, we started 15 minutes after round. And I was just like, I just had, like, no break. I didn't honestly expect to do good because I was so tired. I was like, maybe lunch breaks need to happen. But honestly, no, just win faster.
No, I get that. Like when I was on stream versus Sohib, again, it was 2-0, but it was also on stream and it was just a long set. And that
Yeah.
was the second to
Oh,
last
that set
round.
was so long. I
Yeah,
was
by the
watching
time
that one.
I came back, I was just like just so tired. Like my final round was easily the quickest round of the day, and I just like lost turn one both games. Like I was just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Real. Uh,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, well, I guess on that note, you guys want to talk about your experiences at North American Championships? I know all of us. Like actually, Jeudy, you have not been to NAIC before, right?
No, this is my first NAIC.
All right,
It
what'd you
was
think?
cool because it lived up to the IC part. My rounds 2 to 4 were all international players. I played the Singapore national champion day 2. I just played a lot of players not from America, which is something that wouldn't have happened at a nationals prior. So that was really cool. Also, I don't know if anyone else felt it, but like walking into the event on Friday was insane. Like there's just so many people, and there's like you like walk in and there's like the gym, the Paldean gym stuff. Really cool.
Mhm.
You know, internets are really fun. Like, I mean, I've done well at only internets this year. Like all my regionals finishes are mediocre. I think it's just they just feel different when like you have the Europeans and like the top players from really every region just coming in. And no, there's definitely just like a different energy about it, and you prepare like only slightly differently, like not even really. It's just like you do see different teams and different like trends from like their meta games.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like ICs are awesome. Um, Obviously the winner, I think for the first time ever, was from Europe for NAIC, right? I think Chris Khan is the only other one who's Australian.
That's cool to know.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I started off the tournament round 1 playing against like a top European player, Julio Tarlau. So I wasn't happy about that, having a tough opponent. And like last year, round 1, I played Paul Chua. So and then the year before that, I played Melvin Kett. Like there's something about round 1 at NAIC where I'm just destined to play like one of the top players, I guess. Yeah, then after that I played Wolf round 3, which I played him round 2 the year before. Um, like again, I don't know what it is about NAIC, but I just early like I get really tough opponents, and I think what was different about this time was that like I don't really feel bad about my losses because I lost to Wolf and Desu day 1, and they're just like amazing players. Like I don't feel bad about that at all.
I'm not familiar with them.
Oh, I honestly, you just kind of have to be in the know.
So Raghav,
Yeah.
what inspired you to use Gavin Michaels' team?
Fuck you. It's been a minute. I can say that now. No, Rain's cool. To be honest, I just there wasn't a lot of time between NAIC and the Fresno, and I decided like, okay, I have to be using Iron Hands, and I'd been using Palance very consistently, so Iron Hands on Palance. I didn't really like Tinglu in the 6th slot, and I was like, okay, like Pelipper is solid, and it's like really good with grass hands, and like in the rain he just doesn't take as much damage from Chi-Yu, right? So that was kind of it. And then kind of like the minor team decisions like grass Palafin and all those things kind of came in testing. I was just doing a lot of best of threes with Jeudy, Justin Tang, and Colin. So yeah,
Yeah.
Colin had been using Rain like for the past few months. So I felt confident that like Rain was still good because both him and Gavin were doing
Yeah.
great. So I was just like, yeah, I'll just try and play like something that's more my comfort.
So for those who are asking in chat, no, he did not actually use Gavin's team, but that was implied by a certain someone on Twitter. And so Gavin does not own Rain. This was actually pretty different from what Gavin used to get top 64. So
yeah, they play completely different. Even Jeudy and I, who brought the same exact team down to like the spreads, we played our teams like very different.
Very, yeah. Like, I guess for me, the reason I ended up using the team was because I knew that Rain was going to be strong, similar, but I also knew that Palafin was going to be strong because people were using it less. And my problem with Palafin Rain back when I was using it a lot in early Reg C was other Palafins, and then Palafin's usage just dropped. So I was just like, okay, I can use my own Palafin without having to worry about a Terra Water Palafin wave crashing and like one-shotting my Mungus or some shit.
Honest, like a lot of this format building for me was like trying to put the puzzle pieces together, and I'm like, oh, this just loses to Bax Palance, right? And so when that dropped off, it was so much easier to like build. Like, I can use any variant of Palance as long as it beats King Gambit, and Iron Hands Arcanine plus Haze Palafin was pretty good at that. So it felt like a lot freer when the New Balance teams were kind of Gyarados based, which also has a lower defense stat. So if you can position well, you kind of just nuke the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess Chuppa, you use something completely different. Do you want to talk about your experience at Nationals real quick?
Yeah, so for Nationals, I ended up using basically like the evolution of the Chien-Pao teams that I'd used at Fresno, which was the evolution of what I'd used for Hartford and Milwaukee, kind of just like continually evolving the team over time. After Milwaukee, I thought AV King Gambit wasn't really cutting it anymore. Basically worked on Jesse Romolo's team for Fresno, really liked it, but didn't think like at the time didn't really think that I'd be sticking with it after that, and then realized like, oh no, with a few tweaks and just like getting rid of Great Tusk for Iron Bundle, it's still a super relevant team. Kind of just sticking to my guns for Nationals, using a team that like, even though I thought it was a good meta call and not a perfect one, ultimately just what I knew the best, and my experience with it definitely carried me really far into the tournament. I was like happy with most of the matchups that I pulled in terms of like how well I knew how to play them and how good they were for me. I think like Ting Ludoso stuff was a little bit annoying, as Alex kind of showed off, but even then it's still like relatively playable matchup against somebody maybe not as strong as Alex. It's a matchup that I would have been able to navigate in top 8. Overall, just like Dragonite Chien-Pao still felt like a really strong team for the tournament. I think some people probably didn't even know how to play against it quite as well as I would have expected for something that was still like pretty well represented in the meta at this point, but overall just like it felt great to use a team that was like kind of catered to my more offensive playstyle. Got to use some of my favorite Pokemon like Dragonite, and absolutely loved going back to Golden Go for one of the first times since earlier this season. The Pokemon is so fun to use.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that you would call yourself like a more offensive, playstyle player until like you started using these things.
Yeah, it's really only a more recent thing, but I think like I don't know, even at the start of the format, like the way that he used Palmont Golden Go is very offensive. That team, like, I don't know, it had an AV Arcanine on it, but that was like about as much as there was for a defensive backbone. And over time, kind of just like, I don't know, I like to use duos of Pokemon that like kind of let me have an advantage and put my opponent on the back foot, at which point I get to make reads like, I don't know, maybe a Golden Go, like trying to catch Gyarados coming in with Specs Thunderbolt and stuff like that, or even just like, I don't know, Chien-Pao and Dragonite can really just like push your opponent out of the game very quickly if they're not like switching the right Pokemon in front of you, or you're doing things like instead of extreme speeding the Flutter on switch and you're hitting with Ice Spin on switch, and just teams that burn your opponent out of resources very, very quickly are some of my favorite things this format.
Totally fair. Like, and the better player you are, like the more potent these kinds of teams are. But I don't know. For some reason, I still associate you with like double primals, Ferrothorn, and Mungus. So
Double.
Hey, that's Dude, that's
It was
I
like the
don't know,
first
I
regional
think that's a
16 as
little
well.
bit more of a Gavin team, honestly.
That's
oh
true.
my god.
Wait,
No escape. There's no
wait.
escape.
You used a Gavin team, Chuppa? I thought Raghav was using the Gavin team.
I
Listen,
actually did use
I'll say
Gavin's
it.
team that year
I'll say it.
at
I
Worlds.
used the Gavin team.
Wait, Alex, you used a Gavin team?
Yeah, no. Gavin was on Earthworm for a long time before me. And speaking of Earthworm, you should open the top 16 Earthworm team. I was like, yo, I saw this guy in the tournament. I was like, I wanted to know how well Earthworm did. It made it to top 16.
That was the Singapore champion that I played, Star Sapphire.
What are these nicknames?
It's just
Like-
female, male. That's it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the nicknames and I'm just like, why? Like that's allowed, but it just something feels wrong here.
I think they're implying that the
wanted
worm will
iPad
go
nicknames
inside the
off, so I
dragon.
guess I didn't see any of them.
The,
I didn't mean to talk over
the
you.
modem was probably the hardest thing on that team for me playing against it. I had to like always try to one shot it each game. Otherwise,
It's got
Did
electric
I win
terrain.
them?
That's funny.
Electric terrain. This is actually just so crazy. What the heck is going on here?
also no shed tail, no shed tail either.
Oh my god, I didn't
notice.
even realize.
Yeah, no, I lost game 2.
Wait, there's no shed tail? Oh,
Yeah,
Listen, why does it even matter?
In the story too.
The
I
nicknames make even less sense.
no,
This
I,
worm is so fake.
no,
What the
it was
heck?
so real. Like game 2, they led Earthworm, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hit it so that it doesn't like do things, and it clicked Iron Defense, and I was just like, I looked at the team sheet, I was like, I didn't read the team sheet.
okay. But I have to mention that they were not the only one to do it. Everyone's just saying shed tail is cap. There's another worm, top 32, that also just didn't have shed tail. Why? Why is this the thing? It hurts me.
Wait, who's the other?
Wait,
Shed
that
Tail?
guy
I played it since Worm round 1, but there was there were 2 worms with no shed tail.
Yeah, Jared Hub as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was my last round. I got him on a pair down. So I was stressed out.
Yeah, but you had learned the matchup at that point, so you were fine.
True, but I read the team sheet this time. Well, actually, what happened for there, as I saw that they're cheating,
like Carter Davis.
and I was like, "Yo, I got this."
So the third Earthworm in day 2, third Earthworm in day 2 also did have shed tail. So that's it wasn't just wasn't entirely shut out, but no Dragonite, which is funny because that one was a staple on.
Yeah, that was actually what made it a bit easier for me. Just because like my Pelipper could wall the Garchomp, so it really wasn't too bringable.
Oh yeah, it really did, huh? Yeah, they just didn't have spread. They only had spread moves.
Yeah,
well-
I played a Worm day 1 that was way harder. I mean, I had to make like some pretty crazy reads like every turn to stay into that one. But I think that was what like Toller and that group brought because yeah, it was Dragonite and then SD close combat wild charge hands, like some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
Their
want to.
team has so weird. It's like Ice Spinner, Throat Chop Haze.
Which one are we talking about now?
The Justin Karras and others use the team.
Oh,
Told
Yeah, they definitely, that group had like a meta call, and that's like what that team ended up having those moves and stuff.
Oh yeah, this team was.
Yo.
I heard some stuff about this team. I didn't realize they were running Worm. Yeah, it's a choice for sure. I mean, a lot of that group did not do too hot given the caliber of their players, so I don't think that it ended up working out as well as it could have.
Yeah, Karras had the unfortunate 6-0 into 6-3.
Could happen to anyone. Could happen to you.
Yeah, I saw Yotam didn't do too hot. I saw Toller didn't do too hot, which is a shame because I think I drafted both of them, but alas. I put my faith in Karis, and then Karis bet against me on our draft. I can't believe it. Still upset.
That was so funny. I actually thought it was so funny because I was like, wow, like Burns is not doing too hot in this draft. He did not know who he was picking, and then Burns won the draft with me. Like,
I do want to talk about Alex's team real quick. I don't want to talk too much about Reg C teams because format's over. No one really cares too much anymore.
Dead format.
But Alex's team was very, very cool. I said it before the tournament. I said this format was still like able to be broken. There was still development to be had, and Alex was maybe the player. I mean, Raghav, your team was also definitely new and definitely a little different from what we've seen before. But
it's definitely not new. We went over this. We talked about it.
But like Alex's team,
Gavin's team, yeah, Alex's team was new.
Alex's
that
team
was got it, man. Look at it.
This team is sick. This team, I mean, obviously, like shares a lot of similarities with both Nels' team from Fort Wayne and Justin's team from Fort Wayne. That obviously both did really well. But this is like the Terragos Dragapult set was not something that we've been seeing at all. I think he did well at Japan Nationals, and Alex and Kyle did a really, really cool job of building around it. And I mean, we saw how powerful it looked, especially to some of the common teams that both Chuppa and Raghav were running. Raghav, not to say your team was standard, but like I can see that team. This team looks like that's exactly how it plays into basically every more balanced matchup. And I'm not surprised that it won, given that it was very targeted towards a lot of the common teams we expected to see, and it was really cool to see the metagame develop one step further before we just kind of left it behind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I would say like most of my team is like, I think it seems like pretty standard pieces.
It's a standard team.
Common, exactly. They're pretty all common.
It's got a Pelican. That's it. Like the Pelicans also been seeing a lot of play this year. So
yeah, exactly. And Dragapult is just kind of good into everything on that. It's faster than everything. And I played pretty bad in the finals. Like I could have tried to trade some like spores for wisps or something like that, but I'll be honest, I just didn't know it was gonna nuke my Amoonguss like that. So yeah, like shoutouts to Alex for having just like an incredibly creative team that was just
thank you.
So solid.
Oh yeah, no. Did you mean Gomez or?
Why would I be talking about Gomez? I only like American.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No, I just he's not on the podcast, so I don't know why we're talking about Gomez so much.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, somebody mentioned the Terra Normal on the Dondozo. I'm guessing that's for Annihilate, right?
For Annihilate, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. To maybe get off a clutch yawn on a beat up Rage Fist turn. Next to Tinglu and Dozo, means that Rage Fist is definitely not picking up any KOs. It's probably not even doing half to either of these Pokemon. I mean, it's probably doing 0 to Dondozo if it Terras. That's just an approximation. We'll maybe run that calculator on the calc is right.
Yeah, I was curious about the Terra Normal. I guess it's just is.
Yeah, no, it's for Ape. He told me because I asked him like what that was about in Swiss.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to say about the team. The Flutter main was like Speed Booster Sub. That's like mildly different. We don't see Sub on Flutter all the time, but some of the time. And then like the POW is about standard. Iron Hands kind of standard at this point, and the Tinglu a little bit different. I mean the Tinglu Dozo synergy was a bit cool. We've seen Tinglu Dozos in the past go for Yawn Stealth Rocks to kind of punish the switches, but in this case it's kind of the opposite. It's like, all right, I'm going to yawn you in and then also Sand Tomb you, so you are going to be forced to sleep because you cannot switch. Yeah. I thought that was neat. That's very neat.
Similar to what Wolf was doing as well. So
yes, true.
It's like a very I guess like multiple players are kind of reaching the same conclusions, and it's been done before, but like if you hit your Sand Tombs, it's just so threatening. If you just catching something on the switch or like just like having an Arcanine in there, now it's like that mon's pretty useless.
Did we no, we didn't run Sand Tomb at EYC, right?
No, I was going to
we were gonna
run Sand Tomb and Whirlpool with Guard, but I didn't
I think
we didn't end up using either, so
I think I had to talk you out of Whirlpool, because Whirlpool is not it. I can't. That one I will not stand for.
Block on the Garg, that was enough.
The block was heat, though. Honestly,
that was sick. Yeah,
that part was heat.
Yeah, I also think Sand Tomb is good with it. Yeah, I just ran Fissure because I was stupid.
Because we were Fissure pilled.
I see, yeah, honestly,
Sangam and Yon are just like so strong together. Like they both just like I don't know, kind of eliminate some of the downsides of the other move. Tinglu and Dozo is just such a natural pairing for them. It's just really fascinating to me that like traditionally, like I don't know, I guess Yon was good in Dynamax formats and it's still good now. Santum and other trapping moves are really good now after historically, like prior to Gen 8 VGC, like they were both pretty much meme tier moves and people did not really use them at all. And now there's just like, I don't know, so many circumstances that make them so good together. I'm really excited to see like how the lessons from like Ting Lu Dozo carry over into Reg D.
no,
Yeah.
that's actually such a good point. Like, it's the mechanic now is like very different than Dynamax. Like we knew why Yawn was good in Dynamax, but like going back to a non-Dynamax format, seeing it like kind of be used in a really just solid way is exciting, especially because I kind of love these
Yeah.
like these slow strategies. But yeah, the other thing I want to point out on his Ting Lu is just like taunt gives you so much room to actually do stuff against Amoonguss, and you're kind of forced. Like I would be forced to lead like Iron Hands Amoonguss if I wanted to do anything, and he can
Mm-hmm.
pretty easily punish that with his own like fake out and or Dragapult lead, you know. So I think taunt Ting Lu is like something I expected to see more of in the format, just because it is really good into Amoonguss. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, he
No.
figured it out.
Even the flutter, like the move to speed boosting flutter is something that we're seeing a lot in Reg D early.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things you can apply.
Hmm.
Let's talk about some of the other teams in the top 8 before we move on. I don't care to talk too much about Victor Medina's Torview's team. I mean, I'm sure there's some very interesting micro decisions on this
But we can
Nuances.
we can talk about
two ballots. And then Joe ran it back with like some adaptions on the jump left team. It's funny, I actually talked to Joe. Joe was like, "Yo, I got you, buddy," because I drafted him. And then I was he was like, "I can't believe I was in like round 4 or something like that." And I was like, "Bro," when I saw that you brought the jump left team again, I was like, I was very hesitant. And then here he is showing that no, this team still got it, or at the very least, Joe still got it.
yeah.
Joe's cracked for sure. Like,
And then Marco's team is just New Balance, but it's got a Garchomp. So I guess I'll click the team and look at what the Garchomp was doing.
this
Swords
team's
dancing,
crazy.
swords
Look at
dancing.
the flow.
Okay,
Yeah,
who played
definitely-
Marco? Who was it?
It was me.
It was yeah. I thought didn't you kind of swag on him though?
Well, yeah, I mean, like looking at the team, I was kind of like, okay, No Ting Lu makes this a lot better. Like, I don't really get how he beats like Fluttermane Arcanine, right? And I figured like, dude, Marco's like #1 seed. Like, he really only had like one loss. Um, so he must be doing something good. So I was actually like really scared going into this because I couldn't really see what the lines were. But nah, like Fluttermane was just really good into it. Like I just kind of spam like specs Fluttermane into it.
yeah.
Um, but I do think some of the sets are really cool. Like I wanted to make lefties Chi Yu work, you know, all year, but and Pixie play Fluttermane's cool. It
Yeah.
finally got, you know, a good
There
real
was
finish.
2 substitute Fluttermanes too in top 8.
Yeah, no, Shadow Ball also made me feel better about like my own Fluttermane.
True.
I read this team sheet so poorly when I played Mark, and it wasn't until like after Swiss had finished and I'd already lost him. Like, it didn't have ghost coverage. I just like glossed over it. I guess like Pixie play double fairy moves really is the play.
That is kind of heat. That is kind of a bit weird.
Oh, I also never noticed it was Terrifier hands.
I mean, you have the rain team.
Just little. This is why open team sheet is a little silly. Is that
I
like
probably
reading
did
comprehension is a skill.
in the match. I just didn't remember. We'll go with
And then before we leave the top 8, we got to talk about Justin Knox's team, the only player doing anything cool.
He
Iron
had
Moth,
a
what?
crazy run too. He beat Wolf, he beat Paul Chua, he beat James Evans all in day 2. He also got a bye in day 2.
that. Alex, bro.
He had a run, but also it was a little bit easier.
He got a bye and then he just had the gauntlet. It was crazy.
But those are definitely not players to be discounted, though. Wolf, James Evans, Paul Chua. If that's the case, then wow.
Oh,
Yeah, double Thunder
Didn't he
Wave.
beat
I
Alex in the
remember
last
hearing.
round?
Did he beat Alex too?
Like what? On stream?
I believe
Oh,
it.
wow.
Yeah.
Sash Flutter, bringing us all the way back to like February. I love it. Paul Chua admitting to getting swagged on by the Gyarados. Wait, it's just kind of a standard Gyarados, though. Why? What's your team
I
susceptible to a
wonder
standard
how
Gyarados?
Gyarados swagged on him.
I think it's because it's fairy, or I don't know. That's
Um,
what Gyarados.
Yeah, I don't know. Fairy Terror is not even that uncommon on Gyarados.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
The
I'll
weirdest
say
thing is definitely the moth.
Speedy. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's got a swaggy EV spread, as they say.
I'll outspeed
Oh.
Moon and Arcanine. Oh,
So it's
shit.
probably just like max speed or something. I did actually face a max speed Gyarados as well.
Yeah.
That was something that I realized. Like speed is so, like there's so many mons that are just like randomly, they're like in the same speed range, right? And just like being faster is so good. It is crazy. Like your Gyarados being faster than Arcanine's make or breaks the matchup, right? Like it just changes everything. So I can definitely see speed investment Gyarados being good when everyone kind of expected they were 107 speed and just had a ton of bulk.
This was actually like a European thing, so I'm glad to see an American player run it. But when I was talking to Maddie, he was afraid of this matchup. But like the Grimm's Goldango stuff was like picking up in Europe. It did not pick up in NA at all. Like there was like no NA players. I guess besides not. Like if we look at the person who bubbled 17th, Desu did run the Grimm's Goldango stuff. But it was just not an American team, I guess. But also, yeah, Iron Moth was cool. When I talked to him, he said that this was like the one team where Chiyu didn't feel like it fit. So the Moth is there for something that Chiyu couldn't do, which is probably like something silly.
So I guess it resists Fairy, which is at least a nice thing to have
That's
going
true.
for it.
Just keeps your bulk, I guess, under strains instead of Chiyu kind of reducing that a little bit.
Hmm
And
Yeah, like
Ash's
it's
play-
legitimately resisting Fairy versus boosting
is-
Fluttermane's
Yeah.
special damage output. Sorry, I talked over you, Chuppa. What were you saying?
No, that's my fault. I said like Sash Flutter and like Booster Moth. It really is February again when we thought like, oh yeah, like Moth and Flutter is like a very real archetype. We called it an archetype for a little bit, and it's like
We did.
just so funny to see it again.
Fluttermoth. True. So true.
cool with Goldie too.
Yeah.
It does support the Goldie. I'm sad to see no Sludge Wave though. This is literally a Steel type that it could Sludge Wave next to. Anyway, and then I think there's like one more team that I want to talk about before
Carson's team?
Yeah, of course, the Carson Six. So Michael's team, as some might know it.
I thought
Yeah.
you mean the Brady team.
Sorry, I meant the VGC corner team. The Parish Dozo team. Honestly, like, I look at this six, and it just kind of like makes a lot of sense that Wolf would be the one to like break this. Like, it just seems like very much a Wolf style team. I guess like yeah, as soon as maybe Wolf saw the Parish Dozo back in what was that? Was that Series 2 Regulation B or whatever?
Dude, he's gonna if he hears you say that, he'd be pissed because he ran this in fucking Series 1. He ran Parish Dozo with Flamigo.
Who did Wolf?
Yeah,
And like what? Like what?
like
On ladder
like
or
on,
something?
on ladder, he was the first person to get number one on the Battle Stadium ladder back in December with the team.
Was that not with
17.
was that with Parish or was it with Endure stuff?
It might have been with the door stuff, but it was like self KO Tatsugiri, and then I remember there was this Titan on the team as well that you could copy with the Flamigo.
Yeah, no, that's just a different thing. That's just a different thing.
Okay.
And so I think after seeing the Flamigo boys like Mike, Carson, and Tommy doing well with it at that one tournament, Wolf must have been like, Carson, you won 2016 Worlds. I won 2016 Worlds. Let us combine our 2016 Worlds power. And sure enough, Carson, Wolf, and I don't know, some others ran or worked on this team and ran it. And honestly, I mean, it was definitely the most heat team going into this tournament. I mean, look at this.
No, it was really scary. I kind of just lost to Wolf, like really positioning his Tinglu, Screamtail, and Goth really well. Just because like his Tinglu had a lot of attack on it, so it was just like kind of unexpected damage. And I didn't expect for the Screamtail to have no attacking move. Like it just had all the annoying moves.
All the annoying moves.
And then Heal Pulse on Goth, like just like he positioned really well, and I don't think I kind of figured out the matchup in time. Like I wasn't gonna figure out on the fly. It was really giving me like no wiggle room.
Weren't we talking about this matchup like the night
It
before the
took me
tournament?
a little while too. Oh, sorry, you go on, Ade.
I thought Raghav, weren't we talking about this matchup like the night before the tournament? I forgot who I was talking about it with.
I mean, I don't know. I think like I heard about the team and was like, I have Hayes, it's fine.
I
And also I was like, it's one guy. Like I don't really care. Like if
Yeah,
I
that
lose
was
to
my
him,
like people were really prepping, like running lines. I thought that was so insane that like one player can have that
Like
much going.
we
I
weren't
did
running
lose to it
lines,
too.
but Justin and I were just like chatting about it, and we were like, okay, we know how to play against this. And I think this team is like, it's still very scary if you don't have a good matchup, but like if you have lines into it, it's a lot less scary. If you've thought about them. If you haven't thought about them, you see this and you have 90 seconds to figure out what it's trying to do, the like multiple things it can try to do, and all of its counterplay for like your counterplay, then it's impossible to figure out for game one. But unless you're exactly Chuppa.
I was going to say that's what we need to talk about. But yeah, I'll tell a short version of the leak story, and then but first let's talk about the one person to beat it. Not the one person, but the person who was farming it. Everyone's asking about it. Chuppa, you were actually doing pretty well against this team.
Yeah, so I guess I should start by saying I kind of had the same reaction to this team before the tournament as you guys, like, was aware of it, had an inkling that Wolf was running it, did not really think anybody else would be using it though, and was thinking like, it's just one person. I don't really want to dedicate time to this. I'm just gonna assume it may or may not be a tough matchup and kind of move on with it. Then I pull Brady using it and figure out some pretty good plans on the fly just from like, I don't know, from having played like, let's say Technos at Australia, had an idea of like, I don't know, basically how to try and break down like a Dozo parish team like that. And then playing Wolf, who just used it like very differently. And for like, I don't know, basically the first two games against Wolf, I was really struggling with a lot of these like not so obvious lines like, oh, you picked up a knockout at the wrong time. Now my choice band Dragonite's getting like encore locked or disable locked or really whatever. And getting really punished by that and eventually just figuring out like, oh, I've like Golden Go and then Ghost type Chin Pound, figuring out like what I actually need to do in the matchup. It's just such a funky team. I guess I'd say like if you're going up against a team like this, having multiple ghost types is amazing though, just because like once the goth isn't doing its thing, the team is sort of just like other Dozo ballad teams where it's like, yeah, you just force the Dozo to go into its Dozo mode and then deal with it from there.
I think having Goldie is like really big in the matchup, and making sure it doesn't just kind of like die to the Tinglu immediately is probably like the most important thing. Just
The
because it's
Ting
immune to
Blue
like
like had
hand to
max
and
attack
perish.
this morning and it yeah, sorry. The Ting Blue with max attack was so crazy. Like during the day one set, I ended up beating Wolf off of like my Goldie had to live like my own sort of ruin boosted stomping tantrum, and it did it with like 7 HP left or something silly, or else I wouldn't have been able to like win that set. It's the Ting Blue is just so lethal.
It one shot my Iron Hands after I faked it out, I think, which I wasn't sure if that. I thought that was not supposed
Oh,
to
that's
happen.
nasty.
Dang. And those sand tubes were probably hitting.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
honestly, I didn't really notice that like from the Sand Tomb damage, but
I'm just
it like
messing
heavy
around.
slammed an Amoongus coming in, and I was like, that's more than usual.
I do think it's funny that everyone is pointing out, like, yeah, the Terranormal Tatsugiri, that's probably to help against Mouse Ape, when Mouse Ape was kind of slaying this team. So,
I think it's
I
more
think
just to like wall flutter. I guess.
I think an Ilip in
oh,
general
that's
could be really hard too. But yeah, I think Tatsugiri is Terra normal specifically for Flutter Main. So no matter what the Flutter Main does, you can always avoid it. You just don't want to die
that
to the
makes
Flutter
sense.
Mains. You really want to punish Flutter Main leads. I think.
So a quick version of the league story, because we've mentioned a couple of times, like, we heard about this team before the tournament. I don't want to mention the players by name or anything, even though I think most everybody knows the people involved in the story. But somebody noticed that somebody was just casually like, oh, Wolf got points in the global challenge, but I didn't see Wolf's results in the standings. So they looked up where that lined up, what the amount of CP that Wolf earned, and they found a in-game cart named Michael, and they were like, huh. And then somebody was laddering in-game, and they encountered number one on the ladder, Michael, with this like crazy parish team, and everyone was just kind of like, huh, well, that's that's a little bit weird, a little bit suspicious. And then somebody else that was shared this information just kind of spread it everywhere, and then everybody was just talking about like the Wolf team, like legitimately leading up to the week before it, like as you mentioned, Chuppa, Brady like stole the team and just ran it for fun, and then like I was seeing it in like showdown room tours, just people just casually playing with it, people running it on ladder, people would just, like the team was out. It's gonna be like it's definitely gonna be covered in the Wolf video, of course, but like it was just so funny, so amusing.
I can't
That
believe
is
Alex
crazy.
decided not to win a Limitless tour with it first.
People were telling me to run it, and I was like, dude, Wolf is gonna be so mad.
I think it's kind of stupid to pick up that. It's like it's just an insane team. Like you probably need practice, like a lot of practice with it.
I mean, it's also definitely got like noob stomp lines, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff that people were not going to be ready for, and I think that if your goal was just to make day 2, then you could probably pick it up and run it pretty effectively. And I think Brady almost did that. I think he went 6-3, right?
Yeah, I mean Brady's like a really good player, and I don't know how like early he picked up the team, but I
Night
don't know. I
before.
think some of it's like lines or like its strength is kind of in the more unintuitive lines, and winning like or any rounds after like round 3 can be really hard depending on your schedule. Like, so I don't know. I would be scared running something like that so soon.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't do it.
I really want to listen to like the podcast that I guess Brady did about the team just to like I don't know hear more about how he did it because like I'm really excited for the Wolf video about this, but knowing how produced Wolf videos are, I'm sure that's not going to happen for a while. So in the meantime, I really want to hear Brady's take on just like how the team worked for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was close to making day 2, right?
Brady? Yeah, he started out 5-0.
I'm looking at OP data right now. Yeah,
He started out 5-0. He lost to Chuppa. That was on stream, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then he beat someone and then lost to Gavin and then lost to someone named Zach Taylor, who I think is the Orthworm guy. Might be wrong about that.
Okay.
In the winner. But yeah, he was doing okay. And then no, it was not. It was actually just Choppa's team again, or very similar. Not Choppa's team exactly, but Pound Night Chomp stuff. Choppa's Fresno team, actually.
So
Just
So-
team.
The Great Tusk, not the bottom of day 2. Great Tusk, what are you doing down there? In this.
So, is there any other major teams that we should be talking about before kind of closing the book on Regulation C, huh?
I don't
Dead
think
for
so.
me.
I think that, I mean, there are some other cool teams. I see like Dawe ran Miascarada, because there's always one Miascarada in top 64 of every
Always
event.
one Miascarada.
That's awesome.
There's Grant Laird running Palmot instead of Iron Hands on Chuppa's team.
Awochien made it in there.
Awochien made it.
Alberto's
Like,
still running the keys.
I don't know. Like, there's stuff going on, but like at the end of the day, I don't know how much of this is going to convert to Regulation D. Honestly, I think the thing that might make the biggest impact on Reg D out of everything here is Alex's Dragapult set, because I think that is still very potent going into Reg D. There's nothing faster than it. I mean, Eleki's faster than it, but that doesn't impact Dragapult.
Fair body.
So yeah, you just get to do the exact same thing, and it's potentially very powerful. And I know everyone's got new toy syndrome, trying out all this new stuff, but like, I think it might be worth considering. Like, what if we just try to do what Alex was doing and no one else was doing prior to that, and see if it works in Reg D. So that's definitely, I think, the takeaway going on into what is going to be the Worlds format.
I think it's good into a lot of the new mons as well. I think like the scariest thing is like when you're Terra Ghost, you can't really dodge the Chanpao Sucker Punch or I guess Urshifu Dark. But yeah, it's really good into a lot of the new Pokemon. You could get paralyzed by Thundurus, I suppose, and I'm not sure. I haven't really played too much with Dragapult, and I've only played very limited Regulation D games.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have plenty of time to talk about Regulation D over the next few weeks leading up to Worlds. So I don't think we need to speculate too much. And also, we'll have time to talk about Reg D for sure, especially as Limitless tours. I think Victory Road, I should mention that. We normally talk about that in the beginning of the podcast, but Victory Road has a very big Regulation D tournament happening.
Yeah, I've got a link
this
in there,
weekend.
Audie, if you want.
Is that this weekend?
It's this weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So there's two
Sure.
two tournaments upcoming for Regulation D. here we'll talk about this, and then next we're going to make sure we don't miss and skip over the regionals that were announced. But so yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about, we talked about last week about like Regulation C retrospective, and so I don't really want to spend too much more time on that. We talked about Regulation C all podcast, but yeah, Victory Road has a tournament coming up this weekend, and then next weekend Nino is running a tournament with like a $500 prize pool. So I expect some people to be playing in these ones, but we're all qualified for Worlds in here, and we're all attending. But and I think I was the only person that like got the jump start on Regulation D. All of you guys were, either tryharding for day 2 or like just taking Nats very seriously. What are your guys' like first steps preparing for Worlds now that you've shifted to the new format?
What's your Jeudy's thoughts? I like that.
Yeah, I mean, Jeudy, do tell us.
This is honest. That's just like that's my thoughts. Is like flub me sideways. I have to think about an entirely new format. I'm gonna be in Japan in 30 days. So basically for me, I want to just try things I already think are going to be good. Like everyone has preconceived notions. When you look at a metagame, you're like, oh, these mons are good. I want to focus on what I think is good and play games and just see what everyone else here at Tub is doing. Get some toes, a little toesy, because
Toes
one cannot account for the entire meta. Like that's a lot you're asking one person to do. So I'm very thankful I'm part of a team building group with lots of talented players, because the idea of prepping for Worlds, like the most important tournament of like a season, and it's a new format, is stressful.
Tom Hayden does ask a very good question, and so let's get this one in here. I'm going to read it as it says, and I've never heard the term before, but what's the advice for a first-time Worlds player on keeping info secret in testing, or just being a practice slut and laddering as much as possible?
I have thoughts on this. So I think for me personally, every Worlds that I've attended, I've had to keep the team entirely secret and not laddered, and that just felt like complete ass. Like that just always resulted in a bad finish. And the 1 year that I actually made it to day 2 was with a team that like was definitely still like relatively too secret, but I'd been using like 5 of the 6 Pokemon the whole time, and I was laddering with like a very similar version of it. Like, so I really think that like nobody's like there's a lot more to gain from getting good practice in and being like relatively open with it than just being completely secret and not getting in enough reps.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, I even heard a little bit about this from Colin during Milwaukee regionals, and just some horror stories from his past about like Worlds where he just like had to keep the team too secret, didn't end up getting good enough practice, and then just didn't do great with it. And I think, especially like for somebody like you, Tom, I think it's just best to just like continue getting in those games with the team. I think like for 99% of people, it's not like Worlds Day 1 is going to be like 200 something players. Like people aren't going to be able to scout you individually. You just have to get in that practice. Just, I don't know, play under alts, make sure people don't know your alts, pretty simple stuff like that, and just master the team. Like, don't be afraid to like, you just can't go out of your way to keep stuff too secretive, because it's just at some point it really is not benefiting you.
Yeah. So if I can actually,
go ahead. You go ahead.
If I can actually add to that, play games, be a ladder slut. Just seriously, like people are too paranoid sometimes by anything. Like there are players that I think should hide stuff. Like you need to be from practice with your team. If it's something like really like you feel is really strong that's not being used and you don't want it to pick up, maybe then you want to limit your practice to like best of 3s with people that you know. But no matter if you're doing best of 3s with people that you know, if you're laddering insane amounts, you need to play the game. There's like no cutting that part out. Being familiar with the team is going to be very important. There's going to be 200 players day 1. That means there's going to be 200 different matchups. Obviously, some people are going to be using the same team, obviously. But like, there's going to just be like so many minute things that you're not going to be able to like account for everything. So being able to be at least familiar with everything is very important.
I think
I was talking to Sorry, Ali, go ahead.
Someone in chat said ladder on cart, not on showdown, because NA players don't play on cart. And while it's partially true, keep in mind the Japanese players play overwhelmingly on cart, and this world is going to have more Japanese players than ever because even though the same number qualified, it's easier for them to access. And so I don't even know if that's good advice necessarily, but I do agree. I think just play games, early format, new format. If Worlds is in a format that is established and you had played a million games with your team already, then maybe you can keep it more hidden and make your like small changes in text hidden. In this format, it's just all about getting comfort with the format, all about getting comfort with your team. No one is going to be comfortable with their team unless they played a certain number of games with it and has refined their team. Like, it is going to be a competition to see who can refine their team the most, I think, and or find the most powerful composition and refine it the most. And that is not going to be easy without playing games. So I definitely agree. Play a lot of games. There is a point at which you probably want to start keeping things secret, but practice without laddering usually means playing best of threes against a specific list of teams that you think are going to be common, and no one knows what is going to be common going into Worlds. This is a totally different tournament than we've had in the past, and so as a result, there's, I think, even less of a reason to, or not less of a reason, but there's less of a way to practice effectively while keeping things secret.
I guess like one other thing that I want to bring up there, and I'm kind of remembering this because like not only is this Worlds in Japan, the Japanese players that got day one are like probably almost all of them are going to show up, and even the past Worlds does have a lot of Japanese players at it. Maybe laddering a little bit on cart is going to help you get a little bit more used to playing against Japanese players because they really use very different teams than the rest of the world. If you get high up on battle spot, you're probably going to have a little bit more of an idea, like, I don't know, how the Japanese metagame feels different than the Western metagame, so I think that is one thing to say about getting on battle spot. You're going to get more familiar playing against Japanese opponents.
I'm actually like really interested in seeing what the World's meta is going to be like, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, like the Japanese circuit was like largely like best of one in Swiss, right? Or like they had open sheet closed Terra or something
For like top 8, yeah.
Yeah, it's been like a really weird experience for them that's not the World's format. So I'm kind of interested to see how they what they come up with, because they always, like Chuppa was saying, have really, really creative teams that just like feels different than, I guess, the Western metagame. But
I think that on that note, I think that's actually going to be a really difficult transition for Japanese players. And the reason is because I don't think that they realize how big a difference it is to play open team sheet. I say that because I don't think we realized how big a difference open team sheet would make when we were prepping for Players Cup. And even as late as Players Cup 4, I think I locked in a team that, or Players Cup 3, I remember, Raghav, I was working with you, and I was like, this team does not feel like it ladders really well. I actually really struggled in Players Cup 4 qualifications for the team in that closed team sheet format, but an open team sheet, it had matchups for everything. And on the other hand, the Players Cup 4, the team I locked in, was awful in closed team sheet, but it was doing super, super well on ladder. Just like it had some like gimmicky text on it. And so I don't know if they're going to fully realize the implications of that. Obviously, Japan's probably going to do pretty well at Worlds anyways. They got the home field advantage. But that is something that cannot be underestimated going into Worlds.
that's like the bigger deal, because in past Worlds, like they still like dominate, even if their circuit's like best of one. Best of 3 Worlds is still like they always crush it. So I think the open sheet's probably the more like difficult transition.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say something as like a player who came back like after a while. I think open team sheet, as like I think we've seen, also benefits more experienced players or players that are like even though Japanese players haven't been playing open team sheet, I feel like playmaking in general gets better with it. So just because they haven't been building necessarily for it, the level of play is going to still be high, and it's going to benefit them just as much as it has been benefiting lots of top players throughout this year.
Going back to how we are approaching at least the first couple of weeks of preparation for Worlds, I think, again, I said this earlier, it's just playing games. Like, we don't know what's good. I think this is going to be a format where you have to explore really in depth and figure out what's good and what's not, and try to find the most powerful thing you can be doing and build a team that does that. And that just means you have to play games with a lot of different teams, get comfortable with a few different things, and then start figuring out what exactly you want to build around. And so, at least for me, that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be just playing as many games as I can with a lot of different archetypes, and hopefully, 2-3 weeks from now, at least, hopefully 2 weeks from now, worst case 3 weeks from now, I'll know what I want to be using, and I can refine it.
Yeah, Alex is already locked in for Worlds, so it's like not really difficult for him.
I have been, yeah.
But no, I'm just gonna try and spam as many games as possible. But I think everyone just kind of has a different process. Like, I don't really think there's gonna be like one call, especially there's no format. Like, there's no tournaments in this format before Worlds that are like official. I just think like, yeah, try and get as comfortable as possible with something that's like pretty strong, relatively strong, consistent.
Yeah. My process is like I've been just, trying to test out as many different things as I can and trying to like make sure that I'm testing new things mostly because I want to see like, what stands out, what is worth building around and what's not. Of course, we're going to be, you know, incorporating those old tools that were good in the previous formats that, maybe people are forgetting because of new toy syndrome. But right now I just want to figure out like what's, I don't want to like be wasting time, at the end of July exploring like is Weirdier actually any good? And the answer is going to be quickly like no, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of building ever since the format was announced. But now that like NASA's over, people were like asking me like, Alex, hey, can I use one of your teams on ladder? Alex and I have teams, but now that Raghav's back, like I don't have to really do anything anymore because they're just going to.
Hey Raghav, can I use your team on ladder?
For his cool teams because he makes.
Doesn't this guy just take Gavin teams?
That well, yeah,
That's
but
like
Raghav's
Razor.
more willing to give them. Gavin's just like so like such a greedy little grabby team hoarder. But Raghav's a lot more willing to share the Gavin teams.
That I actually will say that I don't say no to people like often at all about using my teams.
You guys should DM everyone here if you need a Worlds team. DM Raghav.
You are not supposed to say that on a podcast.
He'll have
I don't know if it's the real one.
He'll have to say yes, basically. So,
40
Paul,
40 an hour,
I see that
mean.
you're looking for a team. Anyway, yeah. Was there anybody else that wanted to touch on, the start of Worlds prep before we actually jump back and talk about some things? All right, we're gonna go ahead, Adi. We should actually go back
we should
before we
talk
even talk about
yeah.
the
last
regionals
thing
that were announced. Before that.
Oh, before that.
No, earlier than the regionals thing. We didn't actually talk about who made day 2.
Oh, right.
Like,
Yeah, that's
and-
important.
So I think we want to quickly talk about that, especially since we do have the 8th place, Raghav Bomb that made it in there.
Yeah.
I know Raghav's going to say you're not supposed to say that. Like,
Oh my god, dude, no, that's you did that to yourself because
I did say it to myself, but you always yell at me every time.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting to make it, especially because I don't know, I've just been not doing as well in like previous regionals where I was at like mentally and just like prep wise, like I felt like I could have been putting in a lot more work. So just having the finish that I did at NAIC was like definitely a surprise to me until I was kind of like in the zone where I was like, all right, I gotta destroy all these guys. I gotta slaughter them. Like I need to I need to be focused. But yeah, it was also super, super bittersweet because, Colin, who's like my best friend in the community, was 8th, and I've kind of seen just like how much he's improved as a player. Like I think this is the best he's ever been, even though he got 3rd at Worlds. I just think like I've seen him grow as a player so much. And especially like this is the season I haven't really even helped him that much because I've kind of been going through my own stuff. So yeah, I was just like super proud of him, still am. And yeah, I'm really grateful I got the day 2 just because it is really tiring to play in day 1. And I've never had a day 2 invite, so I'm glad I just like have a better shot at winning this thing.
Yeah,
I think I said this to you like after day 1 of Worlds last year, but it was like, wait, you've never had a day 2 invite before, Raghav? And it's like realizing, like, I don't know, kind of being reminded of it now that even somebody like a player of your caliber, day 2 is just not a sure thing.
I mean, yeah, I I don't know. I don't think I'm like in that tier of like really really consistent players. You know, like Wolf and I guess Paul Chua or something. You know, where it's like a lot of times I play the game and I'm like, man, this is so volatile. Like, how am I supposed to like play consistently? I get so envious. Emilio as well. Like, it's just a lot of time and money, honestly, to get that day two worlds after like 2016. Or actually, I didn't even make day one in 2017. Unfortunately.
Listen. Day two worlds, or sorry, getting through day one is literally free. I'm 3 out of 5 on it. I was actually 3 out of 4 last year. It felt a lot better to say that one. 3 out of 5 sounds a lot less cool.
Yeah,
But day two, getting through day one is literally just the easiest thing I've ever done.
I mean, Alex is one of the best players I've ever seen.
Oh boy. So the actual 8 that are in there is Joe, number 1 NA again, baby. You thought you could count him out, but no, he's back. Extended season or not, Joe makes it to the top, number 1 in CP. Followed closely by none other than Big C. I actually didn't know Chuppa was second.
1 point more than Tom.
By 1 point. Where is this 1 from, Chuppa? Where did you get this sneaky little 1?
It's the best friend pass.
The best friend pass. It looks like Chuppa got some weird numbers from PC combined with the global challenges.
Yeah.
That's where the weird numbers are coming from.
That's crazy.
Paul
You
Chua
have
in
the
third.
exact same amount of points from internets, despite the fact that Paul won one.
Oh,
That is funny. 630 exactly, each of you.
Holy shit!
So
I like
yeah,
how many
Paul.
I have.
Yeah, you have the most out of anyone.
God damn.
Maybe ever.
Well, anything else.
Raghav just farms these big ones. These okay, so yeah, Paul got third. James Evans making it to fourth. There's no difference, right? For
No.
these for
Top
Yeah,
8
no.
all gets the same prize money for this one.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to say that this is the stupidest system ever. Why don't we get 16 slots? Like Wolf had just one of the most like craziest seasons I've seen in terms of like regional finishes, and he's 11th. Like this is so
he's 11th.
stupid.
Yeah.
Tang won 2 regionals. Like
Yeah.
Tang would have been in there. Going down, Carson would have snuck in at 16th. Ashton, the bubble, technically at 17th. It would have been nice to see us
and I
get
mean-
16 slots. Here's hoping for next season.
People surely people would have gone to more events, right? Like people actually did, but like Karis has two regional finishes, right? Like he easily could have filled out that. If there were 16 slots, I'm sure he would have. He would have been.
The season would have changed for sure because
right?
of it.
Yeah.
And like not even just like Karis, right? I mean like everyone who had their Worlds invite early, like myself included, Alex, maybe you
Yeah,
too.
no,
Same, yeah.
Like we'd be grinding. We'd be trying to go to
I'd
events.
say
Trying to get in those
I would have
day two
been
events.
grinding for NAIC if I was if there were 16 invites because
I mean
I
that's
was
a
in
good
the
thing
range.
too. It's like an incentive for you to play well.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
you want good players to be showing up to events. You don't like you want everyone on this list that's got 400 points or whatever to be showing up to events, making them more competitive, making events bigger. Just it's good for everyone.
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend too much time on it because we've talked about it like every time we talk about it.
I will
so-
literally yell
I
about this
didn't know
every
that.
single episode of every single podcast that I'm on. I swear.
Sorry.
It is so silly. Gavin with 5th in championship points total. Alberto also still clutching it out. Zach kind of sneaking in there after the last 2 tournaments. I think Zach was outside of the top 8 before Puerto Rico made it in after there and stayed in. And then the real sneakster of Raghav, of course, as we already mentioned, making it in at 8th. So these are going to be NA players that are going to be day 2. I guess there's the other regions day 2s we could.
We don't have this
Talk
on the
about
doc.
it.
They're not updated from what I know.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then we'll definitely be talking about those more as we go into the world's like draft and everything. So yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. We're going to preview Worlds. I'm not sure if it is updated. We can check real quick. Yeah, it has updated. Okay, so we actually do have the players that made day 2. I'm just doing a quick run through to see if anyone snuck in to day 2 with a finish that I would recognize. So it doesn't look like Latin America changed. I know that Henry Rich was playing the win-in for top cut, and he did top 8 at NAIC to steal a day 2 Worlds invite from Oceania, from St. Pandelis, and got top 16 instead. So just barely missed out on his day 2 Worlds invite. And then,
Go ahead.
oh, I was going to move on to Europe. Did you have something to say about Oceania?
No. Go ahead.
And then for Europe, they of course have 16 Worlds invites. And I'm not sure if they changed it all. I think Joan might have snuck in with his placement. I think
correct though. I remember Luca saying something about being one of the like not making it, and I feel like I remember Kevin saying he did get it. So
yeah, it looks like I know that Cassidy just barely missed out. He needed to get top 16 and got top 32.
Pedons is saying that Joan. Sorry. Pedons was saying that Dorian clinched it at NAIC, and then Paul is saying Joan and Simming snuck in.
Okay.
16 is too few. I agree. Says Duck. Duck. I don't even know why I tolerate you. You're gonna be our first like Tub Nation Twitch ban. I swear.
And then
there was a couple other things I wanted to mention. Really quick though. So Raghav, what place were you going into NAIC? Do you know?
I don't know for sure, but I feel like I was like 13th or 14th. Like I had 710 CP.
Because Team Rocket Elite mentioned, like it was actually like the sweatiest day 2 ending we've ever seen. Like the top 11 all making day 2. It was just like, wow, the race is not like over yet. It is still super competitive. Which was I imagine very stressful for the people in that race. And then I think top 11 that doesn't include Raghav. So
I think I was 13th or something. I thought I was 13th and 12th was Tang.
Yeah, 12th was Tang. 12th was Tang was the highest placing player not to make it, and he went 6th or 8th. I think he lost to Eric Rios in the win or something stupid like that. Like he definitely was in a good spot to make it too.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Like I would not have expected everyone to make a really solid run.
And then somebody asked, Tom Hayden asked, have any of you ever led the standings in play points? Do you mean championship points or play points?
Oh, play points is the fun one. Wait, how do people have 2024 play points?
Yeah, I thought it was championship points, and I was going to use that as an excuse to flex. I won Fort Wayne
No.
in 2017.
I think
that
Tom
was the first
about
tournament
it.
of the season.
Tom is asking about it because he is currently 2nd in play points.
Oh, I see.
Joe.
Okay. So who is Monte V? I was looking at this list earlier, and I just have like no idea.
I think it's what's his name?
VJ?
VJ. I think it must be him.
Where am I?
You haven't played that many tournaments. You're down here.
Let's go, low play point gang.
I went to
Play points used to mean something.
Whoa. See, I'm right there.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
used to not
internets
let
do
you
count for more.
that
So
unless you had like 3 or something. Somebody said that's VJ. Okay. So we talked about the top 8. Now, that's what we're going to be seeing. We'll definitely be talking about them more as we get closer to Worlds, and we're doing our draft and talking about who we think is going to be doing best. Also, we didn't talk about our smart monies. That's another thing that we cruised past. Honestly, nobody hit except Gavin. Gavin grabbed Chuppa. Chuppa was the deepest smart money pick.
who has the highest championship points to play points ratio? We actually have a word for that one.
Oh no.
What is it?
Wolf points?
No, not the wolf points. Don't talk about the wolf points.
So,
Anyway,
that's deep.
I need to move us on.
That's in the
very fast
VGC
before
iceberg
we get
for sure.
in trouble. Let's talk about the tournaments that they announced at the end. They normally don't do an announcement at the end of NAIC, so this was a bit weird. I was watching it.
I was so confused.
Yeah, I was just like, they're like, all right, we have one more thing to say. I was like, this isn't Worlds. What do you mean?
I don't even remember if on stage I was like, what?
Okay, no,
because you were standing up there at the time, weren't you?
I was like, what is she saying?
They said that they were going to announce something about the circuit at some point during the tournament on Friday, like when we were filtering into the before round 1 started. They said they were going to announce something, and so we were just waiting for it. Actually, I should mention this while we're talking about it. So before finals, we knew the result of finals not because anyone told us, but because during juniors finals, they had one fewer trophy on stage, and it was they were missing a first place trophy on stage. I think Duck Pond was the person who noticed it first, and so we were like, oh, we know the result of Masters finals because we know Alex had to leave, and they were missing a first place trophy.
I won't lie, I knew the results early too.
So I was like, the only reason I stuck around was because I wanted to see what was going to go on.
Okay, so yeah, I guess like for the amounts that you can tell, Raghav, we actually didn't talk about the fact that it was pre-recorded. Can you walk us through that and just like fill people in about like the whole pre-recorded business, I guess?
Yeah, so it was super interesting. Basically, I made finals because I was the first top 4 stream match, and then they said like we have to do some like pictures, and we have to wait for your finals opponent. And so then Alex wins, and it felt like it took forever. And he comes and I'm congratulating him, and then the first thing he says is, "Oh, I need to talk to someone because I can't do the usual time tomorrow. Like I have something." And so immediately I was just like, "Oh crap! Like what's gonna happen?" So basically, they said, "Okay, we'll figure something out. You guys take pictures." So when we came back, they kind of laid some of the options there, and we went with like they were very accommodating, I guess, for because Alex really could not move his flight. Like I promise you guys, if it could have been different, like we would have done something else. But yeah, like I found out that night and was prepared to play at like 9 in the morning. And yeah, we had like our own separate room, and they recorded it. There was like a little bit of a like a wall there. They took pictures, I think. But yeah, it kind of sucked that there was no video cam. And like I wasn't able to get much sleep. And like just the hype of the crowd would have been sick. But at the end of the day, I was just happy to like be in finals. And yeah, when Alex won, I just wish they could have caught his reaction because it was so like emotional and so raw. Like I know how much that win meant to him.
Yeah, it felt so silly
Like,
that they weren't recording you guys.
right? Like, and he's the player who's like always says like I'm gonna retire this year,
Hmm.
And so like he finally like won a huge tournament, and yeah, no, I think it just would have been awesome to see it, like our reactions.
Yeah.
Any other questions about it?
No, I think that I haven't seen anything except from Abai who said, "What was it like standing still for 20 minutes, staring at the
Honestly, I
camera in
was
that
like,
pose?"
it was pretty interesting because I'd never done anything like that, and
Hmm.
it was good because Alex and I are good friends. We were kind of just making jokes, and I was probably really annoying because I feel like I was asking the camera guys a lot of questions.
Mm.
Um, but it was
It's a
chill.
very weird situation, so
Yeah, and it just took a really long time more than anything. But the like photographers it wasn't their fault. Like it was just a long process. Like they were pretty smooth about it.
um. Okay, so I guess we actually need to get back on track and talk about what we were talking about. This episode's been all over. Um, we were talking about
The sneak peek of the next season's
the trophies, or not
regionals.
the trophies, the tournaments. So, yeah, they announced where we're going to be kicking off next season. And Pittsburgh is actually the first tournament of next season. So we are not taking a break this fall
Second
because
tournament of
the
next
format
season.
doesn't need any more or the tournament, the structure of the season doesn't need any more fixing. So, we can actually play in the fall again. And Pittsburgh's first. Jeudy, I think you said you were going to that one, but isn't it like right after you get back from? No, it's not that close.
No,
It is pretty close though. Like
it's
from
like
Worlds.
it's like 2 or 3 weeks. We're coming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nothing. What the hell?
What's actually interesting, a friend of mine, Gabrielle, pointed it out that I think that's the only Reg D tournament of NA the NA gets because the next like doesn't the
Oh.
regulation end?
It's every 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
we're gonna.
Hey.
Worlds only has like a few. Reg D only has like 4 tournaments, and then we're moving on to Reg E.
I'm gonna need a break. That's way too
Not-
soon after Worlds.
Not gonna lie,
come
that
on.
makes me not want to go to Pittsburgh. Just like get a head start on prepping for Peoria and Sacramento potentially.
So guys, don't go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, don't go to Pittsburgh.
When does the
I-
DLC come out? It doesn't come out. They don't have a date. I think. Yeah, we're still waiting on that one. It is just fall for the first DLC and winter for the other one. So
Yeah.
fall technically starts September something, like 20 something, right?
Well, like that's
I
the
thought
thing.
it's
If
like September specifically, but I might be misremembering.
it's also
Were the last DLCs released in fall and winter? Because we could look at similar
No.
dates.
the last DLCs were released in like July or something because we had Players Cup 1 with the DLC.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that, I mean, if the DLC, if it doesn't release before October 1st, then certainly Reg E will not be with the DLC mods, right? But like also, do you want a 2-month format? If the DLC is released like October 15th, do you want to play 2 months of Reg D again when we have all these new Pokemon to play with? Like that also seems kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But here are all the tournaments up until the end of October. So surely this isn't all of the tournaments for the rest of 2023. I imagine they'll fit something into November and December.
We usually have an Internets in November at the very least, and so
right.
and surely we'll have December tournaments. We always do.
Yeah, exactly. So just kind of waiting to see where those ones are. I guess let's a quick poll of the call. Who's going to Pittsburgh?
Me.
It's like it's just so easy to get to, like whether I'm driving or like taking a Spirit flight or something. I'm just like assuming I'm planning on like going for another Worlds invite, even if it's like really soon after Worlds. It feels just like kind of a no-brainer to go to.
What do you mean? You're getting top 4 at Worlds. You don't need to fight for an invite.
That's true.
Yeah, but like even then, like if I'm that good at the format, I'm gonna go to Pittsburgh to like try and I don't know get prize money or like chill.
Hang out.
Regional.
Yeah, Gavin and also
Oh.
Blub, thank you for the subs. Appreciate it.
Raghav, you going to Pittsburgh?
Actually, I'm like really uncertain about my VGC future next year, just because I
Gotcha.
gotta focus on school. So I'm gonna like kind of see how school goes at first, and I'll definitely go to Sacramento, just because like California.
Win Worlds, quit school, maybe.
I mean, if I win Worlds, like I might consider it. Yeah, I might go full-time streamer.
Win
Yeah,
Worlds,
right.
pay for your tuition.
Oh no,
Adi with the
Oh,
reasonable. No, shut up, man. You're
don't.
cringe.
Dude, what's
Adi, are
wrong
you going to
with you?
Pitt?
So okay, funny story about that. I looked at flights. I looked at Pittsburgh Airport. It turns out that there is going to be a direct flight from Austin to Pittsburgh that starts service on September 10th. So I cannot take a direct flight to Pittsburgh, and so I'm not going.
Dang.
I can take a direct flight back, but I can't take a direct flight
All
there.
right. Who's going to Barcelona?
I haven't looked at flights yet, but if it's cheaper than getting to fucking Peoria or whatever, however you say that, I'll do it.
Okay, I do think it was very funny. Who's the name of the host again? Is it Anna Prosser?
Yeah, I think so.
The way that she pronounced it, she pronounced it like Peoria. It was just like, oh, like no, it's just
It's
Peoria.
not an
like
Italian regional.
It's just here in Illinois. Like this is like very close to me.
Don't you mean Illinois? Come on.
Yeah. And so, Curitiba is also a Latin American one. I imagine we're not
in
going to
Brazil.
be
No, it's
seeing
not.
anybody attending that one.
Listen,
but then
annou-
there's Peoria,
Announce
my
a
hometown, baby.
announce a regional in Mexico, and I will go. But Brazil, I can't.
Yeah,
make it.
Adi's been saying he will invade Latin
I will.
America.
If they announce 16 day 2 slots, you know I'm winning 3 special events in Mexico and stealing that invite.
But yeah, Peoria is actually it was last year they had this one. They replaced Collinsville with it, and then they took it away. Because wait, Mexico is NA, Alex. Wait.
Alex,
I was
did
the
you?
one that said was it Adi? What did I say?
Mexico is not NA, but Alex, did you go to Peoria last year? Did you, or whenever it was, did you like drive down there?
No, I didn't go to Hang. I know some people went to Hang. I didn't bother. But yeah, that one was TCG only last year, and so they took away Collinsville from me, and then moved it to Peoria, and then it was also during the part of the season where we weren't allowed to play. Sacramento, Raghav said he was probably going to go to that one. Adi, I think you said you found cheap flights to that one.
So here's the thing: I found really cheap flights from Austin to Sacramento, but my family lives in Western Indiana, so like when there's a Midwestern event, I often like fly there, make an excuse to fly home for a little bit, and then drive to the regional. Peoria is like a 3-hour drive from West Lafayette, where my family lives. So like I definitely want to do that and make it an excuse to go home. But then I would have to fly directly to Sacramento because it is only a week apart. And so we'll see. I might try to do the Peoria Sacramento back to back. I might just choose one of them. I will be doing at least one of those two. I'm not sure which ones yet.
Why did they have to be back to back? Because Peoria is one that I'm going to be considering going, but I'll have to fly home for it because I'll have been moved to Seattle by then. But then Sacramento, I'll be on the West Coast, so that's like the one I'm looking at. Maybe I'll fly to that one from there.
I'll be like,
A little embarrassing, but when people were talking about Peoria or whatever, I really thought it was like a Pokemon town. Like I did not know it was a regional. Like, it sounds like it. I didn't play Scarlet and Violet, so I was like, dude, what are you guys talking about? Like, you guys are a bunch of nerds.
I didn't realize you were moving to Seattle that soon, Alex. That's
Yeah.
to think about. You're like, I don't know, like the most like Midwestern person I know, or like
I
Chicago
know.
built rather.
Now I'll just be Western. No longer mid. Yeah, and then there's Lila,
Lyle?
Lyle. That one, I don't think any of us are going to. And then Toronto, last one. Anybody going to Toronto?
Man, I want to. I lived in
Chuck's
Toronto
good.
for a couple years. I love Toronto, but I got to stop myself from going to every single event.
Chup, aren't you kind of
I've never
close?
been to Toronto. Like Drake lives there. It's a city that I really want to check out. So why not?
Did you say Drake lives there?
Yeah, dude, that's my favorite rapper.
I mean, Big C and Drizzy. That could.
No,
That'd be something.
I'm joking. It's actually Colin's favorite rapper. It's just fun to egg him on about it.
Colin's favorite. Colin's favorite rapper is actually more problematic. So
Drake's coming to the region. So yeah, that's gonna be it for those ones. And I'm sure that they'll announce more after Worlds. That it was Worlds last year that they announced like all of the regionals for the circuit. So I guess they just wanted to like give us a heads up that they will be allowed to play in the fall.
That's really nice.
I
Like,
think this like format for it is just so cool. Like a little sneak peek. Like you can absolutely just get ahead, book your tickets to any of these places. It's just so cool that they're doing it this early. It gave us a little bit of something to be excited for at nationals when like otherwise I don't know, you've like run out of stuff to talk about like Sunday night after nationals. Now we have like, oh boy, who's excited for Peoria? It's just differently.
Yep, this is great. I mean, like we were complaining in the past about how like it can be really annoying with like the way that events have been filling up, and like they only announce the events, so they announce them like so far in advance or whatever. It's nice to just like have a heads up to be able to plan travel. Hopefully the events are big too. I mean, we'll see. DLC, is that going to bring in more players? Are we going to lose players because Worlds has happened and it's no longer a new gen? I don't know. But regardless, lots to look forward to next season. Yeah, and so I think we have our last bit of news here. There was some Worlds announcement about like the player info, and honestly, I thought somebody said that this confirmed that there was open team sheets, but I searched for team sheets and open and did not find where it says anything on there. So I actually don't know if there's anything too noteworthy in this link. Adi's just looking at flights on stream.
yeah, to Barcelona.
I just now noticed.
I've always wanted to go to Barcelona. I studied in Spain for a while. I studied in Sevilla, but I haven't explored the rest of Spain. So going to Barcelona, going to Madrid. Hopefully EUIC goes to Madrid. I guess they're not allowed to, right? They're not allowed to have cash tours in Spain.
I think it's special events. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame because I'd love to. If EUIC was in Spain, I'd go in a heartbeat. Anyways,
But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything like unless some nerd in chat can tell me that there was something cool in here, like Duckpond. Maybe Duckpond actually read the whole thing. He would do that. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything in this one to.
It does
about.
say, be sure to keep a close eye on your sheet as it is required to be shown to your opponent at the start of each tournament round.
Okay, so team sheet was the word I needed to look for. It's space. Team space sheet. I searched team sheet.
So it is open team sheet, confirmed. I think I mentioned this on our Monday stream, yesterday's stream. Sorry, that Austin. I was hanging out with Austin and Costa yesterday, and we were talking about. He was like, "What are the odds that this tournament isn't open team sheet?" I was like, "The only way it's not open team sheet is if TPCI delegates some responsibility to TPC, and TPC is like, yeah, sorry, man, we forgot to like bring a printer to the venue, like, and then they try to gaslight us into telling us that that open team sheet actually means that you get to see your opponent's team and team preview."
So, Duck also points out that it confirms that there's no live competition. Yeah. Open team sheet closed Terra is still in the cards. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, so finally confirmation open team sheet is good. And then, yeah, no live competition means nothing new for us. We've been just as we've been playing.
Actually, this reminds me, because I remember we had an update right before Nationals, like the game updated and everyone had to update their game, like a day before Nationals or something like that. And we were all like, oh, this is going to help fix, or this is going to implement live competition, which obviously it didn't because it's not there, or it's going to like reduce the instances of DCs on the tournament. I think that's what we were like discussing and what we thought was going to happen. And then literally I sit down for round one and not only just do me and my opponent DC, but my entire table DCs before game one.
Like every round one at every tournament I've been to be honest.
So,
but I also did have connection issues like later in the day.
So apparently we did not actually get those fixed. So hopefully that doesn't cause a problem for Worlds.
And the other exciting news is the Yokohama Open. This is awesome. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
Has ace.
So,
I mean,
to give you an overview of the Yokohama Open, or just Opens in general, we had one in London last year. It's just a regional. It rewards payouts the same as regionals. Obviously, Japanese players who will be making up probably a plurality of the field are not going to be getting championship points. They still count, and so you don't get bumped up by any means. That's a common question. You can sign up whenever sign-ups start, and if you make it to day 2, you can get a refund. Because this will be happening the same day as day 2 Swiss or day 2 Worlds Swiss rounds. And then you have this weird structure which is that depending on the number of participants, which you can imagine is going to be sufficient for 9 rounds, we're going to have 7 rounds on Saturday and then 2 rounds on Sunday with no top cut.
My favorite part is that they say, like, okay, yeah, if it's only 7 rounds, we're doing 5 first day, 2 the second one, and then they're like, if it's 9, okay, we can do 7 rounds in a day. Like, it's not like they can't physically handle 7 rounds in a day. They just really want 2 rounds to be played on Sunday.
And then,
like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, like, there's a reason why they're structuring it this way, but I'm just, like, so confused, and the more I think about it, the worse it gets as a tournament format. There's just, like, not many good things to say about it.
I do kind of like the fact there's no top cut. I will say that. I think that I don't want to be sitting and playing. Like they did like top 32 cut or something stupid like that a lot of times. They don't obviously you can't do day 2 Swiss for this, right? That's just going to take too long. That's going to make it so it lasts longer than Worlds Finals. And if you don't do like a top 32 cut and then just be sitting there playing your top cut match while Worlds Finals is going on, that's no fun. So I do like that they kind of cut it off and reward the players who do well in Swiss. That's fine. It's a side event.
Paul, don't scare me with that. They're using this as an experiment for next season. It does say right below it, right below the Swiss things, it says, please note that this structure is unique to the Yokohama Open. So I think they're saying, don't worry, we're not going to keep doing this.
The other notable thing is that if there are more than 800 Masters players, they will split into 2 separate tournaments. So there are 2 tournaments of 400 players. And I assume that each of those would be rewarding championship points. And it does say each of those will reward championship points separately, which is also pretty cool. So there's a reasonable chance that we end up playing with two tournaments that are both the Yokohama Open.
So this has actually kind of happened before. 2012 Philadelphia, they split the tournament into 2 flights and then had top 4 of one flight versus the other top 4 of the other flight. Obviously, this is like slightly different, but it is literally 2 different flights that count for the same amount of points, so you can be in a weaker pod or a stronger pod. It's kind of funny that way. But yeah.
Weird.
Jeudy, didn't you like make it to that top 8 and then like lose to Ben Rothman or something?
See, that's the funny thing. I bubbled. I got fifth. So I didn't even get a chance to lose to Ben.
Like that's 7-1 with low resistance.
That's
Too.
7-1,
Like, not
like-
exactly a bad record.
Weird.
That is
It's
tough.
I've like always done really good at like tournament team back then, but like it didn't matter because the format was shit. I went X1 in all my 2012 tournaments and got nothing for it.
I do want to say, like, I don't think there's a realistic chance we're hitting 800 people for this. Like, I don't know exactly how many spectator passes there are, but I do not think there's going to be 800 people who, like, want to play VGC there.
I have
In
always
that format. I think it's just not happening.
I've always boycotted these mainly because I just think it's silly that we're rewarding championship points for the next season when the season is all about, you know, getting to Worlds as just like why have a side event distract from the fact. I get that like it's a good chance to play against international players a bit more. But yeah, no, these have just always been silly to me. So I've never actually played in one of them. But
I was way too depressed to play them. It's like if I don't make day 2, I just need a break.
right,
Yeah,
that too.
Honestly, like I haven't even clicked the article that says it's open. I even like made a tweet earlier and then I deleted it because it's like I don't really care about the
You have a
open.
Twitter?
Yeah, true. I have a Twitter, crazy. I just like I just don't care about it. Like, does it even like count towards this like the race for like EUIC?
Yeah. I
It
think
normally
Mhm.
does,
It should.
but towards the whatever one is next, the OCIC.
so. Oh, see, I see.
But
Yeah, I just don't like care much just because like I'm gonna be in Japan. Like if I somehow miss day 2, then I'm just gonna enjoy my day out.
That's crazy. Somehow missed day 2.
Yeah, I'm confident that I'm gonna do really good. So if I somehow miss day 2, that's it. I'll enjoy Japan instead.
Got Japan.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair. I have mixed feelings, right? I have played in most of the opens in the past. I got some nice points at the London Open that really helped me jumpstart my season and make it so it was a lot less stressful to get my Worlds invite, so I can go to a lot fewer events. But I do agree. Like I'm in Japan, I kind of want to explore Japan, right? That's the point. But I think it might be based on like what the circuit structure looks like, because getting like 200 points, 160 points at the Yokohama Open is like a big step towards winning a travel stipend and then getting into the day 2 race, especially if there are 16 slots. And so it could go either way for me.
I've only ever like played one of these to completion. It was the 2019 one, and it was just run terribly. I really I don't know. The points were helpful for me getting my invite the next year, but the event was just run so poorly. I did not get to enjoy any of day 2 Worlds, and like ultimately really regretted playing in the event. It was also just like I don't know, had to try pretty hard for it. Yeah, I don't know. Opens are like something that I still don't really think they figured out yet, and maybe this new structure will make it so that you don't have to spend too long playing them on Saturday, which is when you really do not have the time to spend. But I don't know. I guess I won't be playing this one regardless, so what does it matter what I think?
Oh, I will say, this one with the reduced structure really incentivizes you to drop. Like there's no top cut, even if you go X2. So if you don't care about the 50 championship points that you might get for going 7-2, you might as well drop and not play Sunday. And if you start out 3-2, you really might as well drop unless you really, really want to grind it out for those points. And so, that's also like one nice thing. Like I think I hit 2-2 at the one in DC and just said I'm gone, I'm done, and left to hang out with friends in DC. So you can also just do that if you check how well you start out and then leave if you aren't feeling it.
True.
Anyways, that was the big news I think from today. Actually, I think this was released. Again,
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like we're going to be. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of excitement for it among players here. I'm sure the Japanese players are very excited for it, especially there's a lot of really good Japanese players that didn't qualify for Worlds that I'm sure want to play in. They want to play in a tournament while they're there and test their mettle against some of the better foreign players.
I have a lot of friends that are going who are spectators that are very happy that this is happening. I know 3 friends who were like popped off at this news. We're just the wrong crowd.
Well,
No, I agree. I think it makes sense for either spectators or just like there are people who won't make it through day one and just want to play more Pokemon, and that's fair. I just think like for me, it's like too disheartening if I prepare really hard or like. Again, for me this year is the first time I've ever like not had the option to play in it. So, wait, technically we could, huh?
Well, yeah, but you still have to
Yeah,
pay.
we could drop day 2 and play this. Like, there's nothing stopping us.
Hey,
I
winning
do
Worlds
wanna
doesn't
be
get
clear,
you any
like,
championship points.
I'm not anti-open. There are good things to say about these events, but it's also like there's some negative things to say about them too. I just think at the end of the day, I guess I prefer that like people have an incentive to like let's say prepare for the format. Like it's almost like you can prepare for Worlds even if you're not playing in it, which is just really interesting. And without an open, that would not be true otherwise.
I think that I'm the exact level of bad that's required to play in this because I'm probably like obviously if I make day 2, it's all moot, but like good enough to make day 2. But also, hopeful. I like to think I'd be one of the best players to not make day 2 if I miss it. And then I'm just like, oh shit, I get to play a regional where there's no good players. This is crazy, you know? No good players, but like none of the top 8 players from each region. I get to play a regional and I don't have to fight Chuppa Cross in the finals. This is crazy.
Probably just like Wolf and Tang or something.
No shot Wolf plays in this.
Didn't he play in the last one?
Did he? Oh, he did. He totally did.
Yeah, he got like top 8.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think Wolf might make day 2 just because he's Wolf, but who knows? Anything happens.
He didn't make day 2 last time.
That's true.
I mean, that just kind of speaks to day 1, just being so chaotic, so difficult. Like, you're playing against a good player every round. It's really hard. And a lot of good players miss.
That won't be me, though. It won't be Jeudy either.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't be me either. I'm going to win one more game than I did last time. Just one.
And I'm going to win Worlds. I'm going to win one more game than I did in 2014.
So,
True.
Did you get 2-0'd by Adrian or?
Fuck! Okay, well, we're going to allocate a win from one of the earlier games.
Which round are you allocating? Which round do you opt into losing to take your extra game?
Dude, Swizzle Dizzle is referring to my favorite joke at every tournament is just after round 1, just saying like, "Oh man, I feel like half the people lost."
Yeah,
that round was brutal.
so brutal.
About half the tournament lost.
Feels like that kind of every round.
Yeah. I mean, every round is just brutal at these tournaments, you know.
Yeah.
400 people lost that last round. What?
I see what kind of person you are, Alex.
That's just the kind of person I am.
The glasses.
Let's end this thing. Let's take it to the Calc is right, and everybody got their calcs ready. Does everybody have a calc?
No.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yes.
Does Raghav needed timed? Raghav, do you know what we're talking about?
No.
Yeah. So basically, what we do is we present a calc without the answer, and you have to guess within the range of how much percentage it's doing. So, if I say like, how much does Rillaboom's Woodhammer do to Fluttermane, and it's doing like 120 to 140, you would say like, you know, maybe you think it's like doing 130, and then you would get the point. You'd be in the range.
Okay, that's fun. So, do I have to prepare a calc?
You could come up with one if you want, or we could just skip it. Honestly, it doesn't matter because we have 4 calcs, assumedly, if everybody else has one.
All right, let's just do the first 4, and if they want more, I'll just start saying shit.
You'll just start saying shit. So I guess I'll kick it off with my boring one because I didn't have one coming into the episode, and I was like, well, what better way to kick off Regulation D? How well do you know your new calcs. We've got Tornadus going for Bleak Wind Storm into Urshifu Rapid Strike.
Well, what's the base power of Bleak Windstorm?
Don't get to look.
You gotta know. You don't know.
You gotta know.
Okay.
What are the multiples?
Oh wait, Raga. By the way, the way that it works is you just like verbally lock in. So you just say like, all right, like I'm ready, and then like I will call on people, and we all say our answers. Then we see who's right.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I got it. Yep.
All right, we'll start with you, Raghav. How much is it doing?
Like 92.
92. Okay. Jeudy?
Oh wait. How much EVs is the Tornadus again?
It's just max special attack timid.
Oh, that's nuking it. That's killing the
What is the
issue.
base power of these moves? Isn't it like?
I'm gonna go with like 115.
Holy shit!
110.
All right, Chuppa.
I'm feeling 110.
110. All right, Adi.
All right. Well, not let's say 110, so I'll go 109.
Okay, going under him. All right. Why don't you guys go ahead and start plugging it in? Or I guess just Adi. So Adi's gonna plug it in on stream. It should be quick because it's like both the defaults.
Yeah, I've got it up. It's doing 105.6 to 126.1.
That is correct.
And to
So
answer your question, Raghav, this is a base 100 spread move.
Okay.
okay.
Wait, well, the range on that sounds so crazy. Maybe I'm just like not familiar.
Yeah,
maybe
it also
that doesn't sound that crazy. There's just a lot of range.
20% of the time it also does 0, so that is
Wait,
pretty big range.
what did Ali say?
I said 109.
Everybody was in there except you, Raghav. I'm sorry, but you didn't know the base power, so that's just not fair.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, if I got the base power, for my base power, it was correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What was your base power?
All right, who wants to go next?
Wait, what was your base power?
If you do the calc, you can find it out. It's the opposite version.
Okay, I can go.
Jeudy, go ahead.
All right, so, like I said, this happened to me in tournament. Said it to you guys earlier. Max special attack, Terraflame, Pelipper, Hurricane, versus just the regular Pinchberry set Amoonguss through light screen.
Through
So-
light screen.
Through light screen.
Wait, what's the regular Amoonguss? Is it calm?
It's just 236, 116 relaxed.
Okay. I am locked in.
I know. I think I know this calc pretty well, actually.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yep,
I think I'm
okay.
locked in.
I'm locked in.
Okay. You guys all locked in?
Yeah, locked in.
All right, so where do we go from here?
You pick somebody.
I don't-
you know what, Alex, you're the first one locked in.
All right, yeah, I gotta go with 95.
Okay. You know, Raghav, we used the same team. You played David too.
What's the answer,
Oh,
Raghav?
Desu.
Yeah.
Dude, he never set up light screen. I don't know. I'm gonna guess like 92 again.
92.
Choppa, what's good? What's good with you? What do you think?
I'm going with 90. I used enough of the rain to like be somewhat confident in this.
Okay. Adi?
So with Tinglu on the field, it does a max. It has a 6.3% chance to kill, and so I'm pretty sure that therefore it's good doing. I was gonna say 90. I'll do 91.
Okay.
Let's see. Run the tape.
All right.
Okay.
So we got Terra Flying Pelipper into Amoonguss Pinchberry set with a light screen up. It is doing 70 to 84. Is that right?
Correct. You guys are all wrong. You don't know your count.
Damn.
I don't, dude. What the
No.
hell?
No.
Dude, Pelipper has a BST of like 400. I'm blaming this one on
Light
Pelipper.
screen's crazy.
Light screen is a little bit better than Beads of Ruin.
So I actually didn't have to deal with this because I always doubled into it after I realized that screens was up. But then I wanted to know, and that's the knowing.
It's not even calm. Like, this is crazy to me. I should know this.
All right. Who's next?
I've got a fun one.
All right.
All right. I want you guys So you're using Sash Regieleki and your opponent has a booster bundle. They've just hit you with a freeze dry. They were not able to get the freeze, but you misclicked and your Regieleki locked in it went for the wrong move against bundle, and you clicked Electro Ball against their booster bundle. You're using a Regieleki with, timid max special attack, and this bundle is just for special offense. I want you to tell me how much that Electro Ball did to booster bundle.
Fuck, Chuppa, this is a fire cat.
So the min base power for Electro Ball is like 40, right?
I don't know. You gotta think about it.
You have to
Think about it.
I think it one shots.
This is such a good calc. And he's got such a low SPDF. I don't know.
I'm gonna go. I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
Okay, I got my number.
I got a number.
Buddy?
I'm saying 75.
I know that one's wrong based on Chuppa's face.
Okay. Alex?
What's funny is my number without changing was 76. So.
Okay. Raghav?
I'm gonna stick with my guns here and say 92 for the third time.
Fuck. Say 90. You know what? I'm a believer. I'm going with 100. This gets the KO.
Okay. Audie, run the tape.
I'm looking at 87 to 102.
Let's go!
No! Is Jeudy the only one to get in there?
No, I 92.
Oh, wait, yeah, Raghav's 92 is in there. Let's go!
I did not realize that it minned at 40 base power. I thought it was 20 base power min.
No, I thought 40 was right, but I just was like, I don't think that does. This is like a weak ass hidden power, basically. Like what?
Dude, transistor.
Oh, I just pinned a message accidentally. What do I unpin?
Yo, I know my Calc. The vibes are always right. Oh, except that one time.
All right, I got one, and then Raghav, have you thought of one yet by any chance?
I'll think of one during this one.
All right. So I'm doing one that you probably, if you're paying enough attention to the NAIC finals, you should know this. If not, you're going to be called out for not watching Raghav. It is 252 attack, Jolly, Choice Band, Sword of Rune, Terra Ghost, Dragapult, Terra Blast into 4 HP, 4 defense, Iron Hands. I posted
into the hands.
Into the hands.
I wasn't even running 4 HP, was I?
I don't know what you're running. That's not the point.
Oh, okay.
That's not the point, bro. Not everything's about you, Raghav, okay? I got my number.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. Start with Raghav. Actually, no, Raghav, you're going last because you should know this the best. Let's go Chuppa.
I'm feeling a calm. I'm trying to extrapolate this from like Dragonite, which is a similarly statted dragon that I am familiar with, but Dragapult's obviously got that the bonus terror going on. I'm feeling like 70.
All right, Alex, what are you thinking?
88. This is hurting.
Jeudy.
You know what? Raghav had to make our Iron Hands bulky enough to take an Outrage. This is feeling around the same power level of Outrage. Amber only running 4 HP, 4 defense. Give me 100, baby.
All right, Raghav, what do you think?
I'm actually deciding between 92 and a different number. I'm going to go with 92, though.
Gotta go with 92.
All right. It was only Chuppa. They got it right. It does 69 to 82.
Dang.
Still a lot.
69 to 82. Did I say 70 or 75?
You said 70, I think.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Wow, what sort of
some of you guys are really underestimating Iron Hands or overestimating Dragapult. Like, I don't know. This is not a hands.
The vibes are off for this one.
All right. Do you have one, Raghav, or should we just wrap it up?
How about Qian Pao Ice Shard into
Yeah.
No, I don't have one. We can just end it.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Really quick, around. How much does Chen Pao Ice Shard do? Generically.
The Arcanine. at -1.
I'm gonna go with 10.
I actually no. This sounds like a fun calc. Let's do it. Let's do it.
It happened to me against Joe.
All right.
That's
so
right.
-1. No, we're not doing yours, Russian. We got -1 ice shard into Arcanine. That actually was a thing. I forgot. Yeah, you got like doubled up with the
Leaf Storm.
Yeah,
jump
and you
was
hung
another great
on.
call.
Okay. I've got mine.
I've got mine.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Jeudy first this time.
I'm gonna go with 6.
Okay.
6%.
Ali?
I'm going with 5.
Okay,
Yeesh.
Alex?
Big spenders or little spenders. I'm going 10.
All right, Chubbs.
I got big 7.
All right, run the calc, Ali.
All right,
Run it,
Chip
run it.
out, Jolly, Focus Sash, Ice Shard into what's the bulk on the Arcanine?
Max HP 4. I mean, you guys were supposed to take that into account. But
All right,
Yeah,
it is
Max
doing
HP.
-1, 252 attacks, Word of Ruin, Chen Pao, Ice Shard, into 252, 4 defense, Arcanine is doing 8.6 to 10.6.
Let's go. You guys suck. I'm the real ice shard
it was only
counter.
Alex who got it, right?
Yep.
Oh man.
Damn.
Wait,
I
did
should have been in
Alex
top
get
4.
it though?
I was gonna say like 8, but like that's more than I thought.
Nah. We got Sword of Ruin. We got Stab. This is doing a little bit of damage.
That's nice.
Not literally 0.
That's like a chunk.
Good calc. Good calc.
Good calc. Good calc.
All right.
Yeah, thank you guys for being on. That's gonna be it for Tub this time. Great time for the ad stroll. Looks like I think that's what that means.
Yeah. Gotta roll an ad before you guys get sent off to someone else. If you don't like ads, there's a way to avoid them. But thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you missed part of the episode, you can go and watch the rest, or watch on YouTube, which will be out on Friday. Normally it's out Wednesdays. So time will be out 2 days later, so Friday, over on the YouTube that I have linked in the chat. And so make sure to check that out. I guess Raghav, Jeudy, Chuppa, y'all have anything you want to plug?
Just
do
follow Jeudy on
coaching
Twitter.
with
True?
True. We got some coaches.
Oh yeah. Chuppa coaches.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought Raghav was going to
serious.
mention that Raghav might do coaching. I don't remember. Raghav, do you?
No, I am also coaching now again.
He's just like, yeah, no, Chuppa does it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Just follow us on Twitter.
Check out Jody's Twitter. I think he gets paid to do that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be trying so hard, I guess, right? You know.
No, I have a thought and then it just goes on to the. I don't think about it. It just goes.
One day we will decide who is the VGC Twitter top 8.
Did I get the wrong channel? I definitely got the wrong channel. Jody, what's your Twitch?
Oh no! Shout out to the wrong.
It's all
also
served. There's a
with
V.
Yeah, there's a V. Yes, I stream once a month, and then sometimes twice. Like I'm streaming the VR tour. That is.
Ooh.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
I have to wait 2 minutes before we get a shout out, so I can't give you a shout out, but Soul Serve.